Hello, everybody. My name is Martha Alter Hines with Living the One Light. Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about incredibly beautiful and yet again, of course, powerful energies of the full moon coming up a week from today. I'm recording this on Friday, November 8th, and this full moon will be happening on November 15th. It's going to be a full moon at 24 degrees of Taurus. And I want to drop into what I'm feeling in that, how it's relevant to this time we're in, this very, very intense time we're in. And yeah, following up on some themes that I mentioned in previous recent videos, but also adding in a few elements that I'm really magical pieces that I'm percolating on and I'm feeling into, that I'm excited to share with you. So, okay. So first, I'm going to show you the chart. Then I'm going to show you where this all is going to fall in the sky. And I'm going to bring in the fact, very important fact, that not only is this a full moon at 24 of Taurus, but on that same exact day, several hours before the exactitude of the full moon, but on that same day, Saturn is going direct. That's kind of a big coincidence. And I'll explain more how I really feel them working together in such a beautiful way. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to show you all of that. So starting with the chart itself. Okay, so here is the chart of the full moon. The moon, again, will be at 24, exactly 24 to the degree, like 24 degrees, 0 minutes of Taurus, opposite the sun, of course, at 24 of Scorpio, and then conjunct Uranus at 25 degrees of Taurus, with Uranus still going retrograde. And also very close by is Sedna, who is now in Gemini. So Sedna fully entered Gemini as of April of this year. And this is a theme. This whole part of the sky is going to be incredibly highlighted next year and actually the year after that. And I'm going to talk more about that, in upcoming videos. I'm also going to be doing a workshop on the astrology of 2025 in December. I don't have that quite ready for you to sign up for, but just FYI, that's coming. I'm also creating a guide to the astrology of 2025, which I'm almost done with. Been working a lot on that, and that's going to be ready soon too. There'll be a free version and then a paid version, and then the workshop. So different tiers of, if you want the free version, that'll be available also soon, very soon, hopefully by next week-ish. Yeah. So yeah, but one of the things I'm going to talk a lot about, probably over and over again, and I'm guessing lots of other astrologers will too, is that Uranus is, of course, going to be entering Gemini next year. Sedna is now in Gemini. And so Uranus and Sedna aren't going to quite come to an exact conjunction next year, but they will in 2026. But they're going to be super, super, super close for a good portion of 2025. And they're already very close. And the area of the sky where they are, I'm going to show it to you on Stellarium, is right with the Pleiades, right with the Pleiades. So this full moon is also in the area of the sky it's not exactly with the Pleiades, but it's very close. I'll show it to you. And so for me, this is definitely igniting this whole phenomenon that's going to be so powerfully strong through all of next year, and I would say even into 2026, maybe beyond. But the other thing that's going to be happening as Uranus and Sedna are doing they're almost conjunction, is that Pluto also is in this long-term trine with Sedna, and will also will be doing a trining kind of relationship with Uranus, right? So as we have this full moon on November 15th, Pluto is so close to entering so close to entering Aquarius. It will enter Aquarius 4 days later. But as it's doing that, it's really, it's trining Sedna and Uranus. And in a sense, you know, it's a little bit loose, but it's also trining this full moon. So, I mean, it's definitely trining this whole set of energy. And we have Ceres there with Pluto also. Pam Gregory recently, in her full moon video, highlighted a lot of details about the placement of Ceres in this chart. So definitely recommend going and listening to more of what she's saying there. She gives some really beautiful insights with that. I'm not going to focus on that here, but just to name it, that that Ceres is at this very important degree very near Pluto and trining this full moon in Taurus, right? Okay, so yeah, one of the really magical pieces about this full moon absolutely is its connection with the Pleiades. Okay, so that's number one. But now let me, yeah, and then you can see that also by the time of the exact full moon, Saturn has gone direct, but it goes direct Pacific time. Saturn goes direct around like 5:30 a.m., somewhere around then. And the full moon is exact 1:27 p.m. Pacific time. So, you know, it's a few hours. Basically, it's happening at the same time. And already Saturn is stationing direct now. So I'm sure feeling it myself. It's, you know, Saturn is stationing direct pretty much on my sun. And for anybody, any of us who have major, especially personal planets in the mid degrees of the mutable signs, so that's Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Virgo, which I do big time. This, you know, this Saturn going direct is really highlighting your chart. And then Jupiter is coming retrograde, also highlighting these mid degrees of the mutable signs at the same time that Saturn is. And they're heading toward their the second of their 3 exact squares, which will be exact on December 24th, 2024. And that square will happen at when Saturn is at 14 of Pisces and Jupiter is at 14 of Gemini. So just FYI, that's a big energy for a lot of us, because a lot of you who listen to me probably have a lot of mutable energy, because I do. It's probably part of what draws you to me. I know a lot of you are really highly Piscean, for example. So, yeah, and if you haven't heard, I did 2 videos on the Jupiter Saturn square, and I have one where I go through the houses and I talk about, you know, how this could be impacting you. If you haven't heard that, go and listen to that, because that energy is getting stronger and stronger and stronger now as we move toward that second of their 3 squares, which again will be exact on December 24th. But definitely in that energy, I'm feeling it in my life. Big time, big time, big time. The influence of both Saturn and Jupiter. Okay. So, okay, now let me bring in where this all is in the sky, because this is where it comes alive for me even more. And hopefully I can support you to feel it in your way as well. Okay, so starting with the moon and Uranus, here is where the moon will be at the time of that full moon. So you can see, here's the Pleiades. So the moon isn't, you know, exact with the Pleiades, but it's sure darn close. And Uranus is getting very close to the Pleiades. So this is the area of the sky where Uranus is for quite a while. You know, it's gonna be going in and out of Gemini. It'll be going between Gemini and Taurus in 2025. And the Pleiades, basically, if you make them equivalent to the ecliptic, which is this red line, they span basically 29 Taurus and 0 and 1 degree of Gemini, if you want to be like precise about it. But you can just feel it, right? this is close. This is close enough. The vibration of the star system is absolutely present here. And I'm sure talking with Uranus and talking with the moon here and talking with us. So yeah, that feels really important just to be present with. Yeah, the placement of Sedna actually in the sky is interesting, because when you look at where it falls on, when you look it up on Stellarium, it actually shows that it's way over here in Orion. I've looked it up on a different site and it wasn't showing it in that way. So it's a little bit confusing to me. But I mean, Sedna is an Oort cloud being. So it has an orbit of 11,400 years, and it is not traveling on the ecliptic at all. It's in a totally different sphere, so it's not going to be, it's definitely not going to be on this red line. But I'm not, yeah, that's something I just need to look into a little more. But for our purposes, you can just say for sure Uranus and the moon are going to be here with the Pleiades, and then Sedna's relationship with all of it is also very, very present. Just I feel like we need to hold her very, very lightly, like give her space to actually, she brings in such a different energy than the planets of our regular quote unquote solar system, because she's not she's not one of those main 8 planets. She's not an asteroid. She of our asteroid belt. She is an Oort cloud being, right? Yeah, so I just feel the need to give her space to be who she really is. And I feel like we can learn a lot from that. Okay. So, yeah, and then let me show you in the sky where Saturn is going to be that day, and actually where it already is. So Saturn in the sky right now is very visible and very bright. If you haven't seen it, take a look. It's very bright in the evening sky right now. And for the last couple of weeks, when I go outside and look up at the stars, the the two big bright things, no, sorry, three, three big bright things that kind of like jump right out of me are Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus. So in the evening right now, Saturn is bright and high in the sky, and then Jupiter is rising on the east, while Venus is setting in the west. So it's actually such an incredible combination at the moment. Yeah, and there's just so much beyond words to feel into with all of it. But just to say, Saturn is in the seasonal sign of Pisces, but it's in the constellation right now of Aquarius. And it is stationing to go direct while it's specifically in the waters, pouring out of this jug of the water bearer. So to me, those waters being held by and poured by the constellation of Aquarius, or the water bearer, or the waters of the divine. That's how I really feel it. So in a sense, it's like the waters of Pisces. And so that's where Saturn is stationing to go direct. It's like Saturn has been sitting for quite a while in the waters of the water bearer, being poured like that, because Saturn is, first of all, doesn't move all that fast to begin with, but second of all, has been stationing to go direct. So it's been sitting in the same part of the sky for a while. And so I can feel it. It's like bathing. That's how it's feeling to me, at least. It's bathing in that wisdom, that intelligence of the divine, period, right? So that's where that is. So there's that energy super strong going on right now. And yeah, so translation. Let me give you my take on all of that. Okay. So bottom line, the call I'm really feeling I talked about this in the recent video I made the day after the US election, where I talked about the call of now. And so if you want to hear more of those thoughts, go there. But what I really feel is needed in these times, and that this full moon, the energies of this full moon are like so beautifully supporting this, is okay, so the moon is in Taurus, conjunct Uranus in Taurus, sitting with the Pleiades in the constellation of the Bull, Taurus. And so on a very basic level, Uranus and Taurus, as I've said bazillions of times, for me is very much about the intelligence of the divine, of ourselves as Earth, as our bodies, as the divine, all of as one, right? That we are divine, we are Earth, our bodies are Earth, and it's all integrated as the being that we are. They're not separate. So it's very, very, very much in general about coming back to the deep intelligence of ourselves as Earth, and the intelligence that our bodies have and that we've often ignored, and all of that. Okay, so that's number one. Then I'm going to come back to the Pleiades in a second. Then, though, when we bring in Saturn going direct that day, so exquisitely beautiful because, so like I showed you, Saturn is sitting in the waters of the water bearer being poured, the water being poured, right? The intelligence of the divine pouring out of that jug of the being holding that wisdom. So Saturn for me is so much about ourselves as wisdom keepers, our own ancient wise self, and the reality that we are, every single one of us, everything in existence is ancient. Like if you just go think physiologically, everything that makes up our body, it's not that it just came out of nowhere, it's always existed. All of the chemicals that make up, our atoms and all of it, they've existed from the beginning of time. So we literally, physically are ancient beings, and our souls, of course, are ancient beings. So we carry in our bodies the intelligence from the beginning of time. It's true. And we've forgotten how to tap into that, how to remember, how to be in the resonance of the truth, the actual truth that our bodies know, and that the earth knows, and that the cosmos, the bodies of, the body of the cosmos knows. And so when we have Saturn going direct in the waters of it's just so exquisite. It's like our deep, ancient, I want to say grandmother or grandfather self is getting bathed in the intelligence of the divine, the wisdom of the divine. And it's like we get to come back. Saturn's been going retrograde, and we're able to, when Saturn's going retrograde, what I often feel happening for me is that it's like I come back deeply into myself, I recenter, I re-ground, and then I can move forward from there. So that's what I've been feeling big time. I've been feeling a really strong need to go deeply inside, like very, very internal. It might not look like that from the outside, but I actually have been, I have been much more internal than I normally have, than I was, I don't know, for 2 or 3 months. And I need that alone time so much, because I have to ground, center powerfully, and come from that pure alignment, that pure essence of me. And Saturn helps me do that. So again, Saturn for me is stationing direct on my sun. It's like, thank you. Yeah, and it helps us to feel what's in integrity, what is like ethically and morally feels right and good in our bodies. Like, what is our sacred yes, our sacred no, on that deep, deep, deep body wisdom keeper level, that again, our own inner sacred grandmother, sacred grandfather essence. And the other part I want to bring in is like, so on the one hand, there's so much need and so much support for us to remember this intelligence that is us as the divine. And super key, it was a big shift for me actually the other day. It's like, on the one hand, we need to remember this deep ancient wisdom that is us. And at the same time, we need to release and let go of this notion and even a sense of pressure that we're supposed to have the answers. So like, on the one hand, we need to remember how deeply wise we are and our bodies are and all of it. And at the same time, I think we have a heck of a lot of, what's the word? We assume that humans are the answer, right? And that humans carry the answers. And I've said this so many times in so many videos, but I'll say it again because I'm feeling it in just like a new layer of this truth, which is that there are deep, ancient wisdom keepers of existence who are not us. Like, maybe on some level we all are everything, but there are these, I want to say, you know, in a sense, ancient grandmother and grandfather energies that are not us, and that are needed. We need to kind of take a step back and let the intelligence, the wisdom of all these other wisdom keepers come forward, who have been forgotten or marginalized or even ostracized, or all of it. So for example, the intelligence of Gaia herself, right? Totally dishonored. We can look at the world and just know that for 2 seconds. But Gaia is a living being, and she has so much wisdom herself. And so there's this, again, this balance of I think us needing to remember and recenter and reground in our own intelligence, and then also at the same time release the idea that we either need to do this all on our own, that all the answers are only going to come through us, and that we need to be kind of like leading the pack in a sense. I mean, in a certain way, all of that is true. Like, we need to take responsibility for that. That's very Saturnian. Taking self-responsibility is huge. And we need to take a step back and like be really quiet on a certain level, and notice then all these other layers of intelligence that can come forward when we kind of like drop back, in a sense. Do you see, it's like this tricky balance. You don't want to drop back and deny, like go like hide yourself. That's not the version I'm talking about. So we don't want to hide, and yet we want to drop back enough to let everything else come forward. Is that making sense? It's this funny dance. Yeah. And I guess another way to say it is, you know, I'm just feeling such a powerful need for us to, in all kinds of ways, essentially let the indigenous intelligence of our planet, of the spirit world, of humans, of animals, non-human animals. I mean, so much wisdom there, right? And we, I think, often forget that, or we relegate it to fantasy or whatever. So I mean, I think I'm speaking to the choir here, but yeah, I think there's such an opportunity. I felt a shift in myself the other day where I went, oh, like speaking for myself, for obvious reasons, I feel like I have this obligation to be a leader, which I think I am. I mean, clearly it's what I'm doing. But to be a leader who, you know, in a sense has, like, the answers need to come through me, or certain answers need to come through me, which is true. The answers need to come through each of us. We all have these divine puzzle pieces that need to come through. But there was a shift in me the other day, really powerful shift, where I got told by the spirit world, basically, like, or actually, no, I got told by Gaia. She said, okay, take a step back. Take a step back. Like, kind of like, what would be the saying is, like, hold your horses. Like, I appreciate your enthusiasm, and also, like, relax for a second so that I can come forward, so that because I, meaning Gaia, like, can I have stuff I need to remind you of. I have stuff I need to show you, because she is a heck of a lot more wise and intelligence than me, right? In a certain way. And I went, oh, oops, sorry. So I feel like there's so much of that version of intelligence on all kinds of realms, that's needing to come forward. So yeah, I mean, that's a whole big topic. But one thing I'm really looking forward to is that next week I'm going to be interviewing a friend of Keone Hanalei, who is an astrologer who incorporates a lot of indigenous wisdom from the Samoan culture and Hawaii, but also, especially, she's ethnically from Samoa, and she has beautiful, beautiful insights from a lot of their navigation traditions with the stars. And I'm super excited. I really like her a lot. So I'm gonna be interviewing her next week and share that with you. I'm really excited about that. And I just feel, you know, again, this is just one layer of what I'm talking about, but I'm feeling a really strong call to start to integrate, to learn about, to honor, and to integrate many more indigenous wisdom teachings, you know. Not that I would be the expert on them at all. It's more that I would really want to hold space for multiple diverse voices to come forward into our way of remembering and knowing. And yeah, there's so much, like, I don't know, right? That's what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that was the part of the shift for me, was that, yeah, I have a role for sure of sharing what's coming through me. And at the same time, then we have this opportunity. We each have that need to be the leader we are, the wisdom keeper we are, that sharing into the world what needs to come through us, for sure, that divine puzzle piece. And then take a step back and let all of these other incredible grandmother, grandfather, ancient wisdom knowings to come forward from all different realms, you know, again, Gaia herself, the stars, all the infinite benevolent spirit realms, and humans who have this incredible wisdom that's often been relegated to the shadows and all of that. And then all of these other incredible beings of this planet, like the animals. I mean, like, you know, just go on and on, all of it. We're all in it together, right? And so, yeah, um, especially in these times when a lot of us are quite worried about the state of things. And we have Pluto about to enter Aquarius, and so that starts to bring in, you know, just these big, powerful other energies. And we're all longing for a certain kind of change and this new earth kind of energy. And it becomes this question of, how do we do it? So I think that how do we do it is the answer is partly about this dance of really connecting with our own deep intelligence of ourselves as earth and divine, and the wisdom of ancientness, and also having this practice of stepping back and letting all these other wisdom knowings show themselves. Yeah, super beautiful. And along those lines, if you happen to want to have access to the recent, on Tuesday, I held a gathering that was really special where I channeled some inner mountain beings, and so I'm going to be sharing more and more and more about I'm going, part of mine to do is to be a conduit for a lot of this, the wisdom of the realms of various spirit realms wisdom. I'm being asked to channel a lot of that wisdom back into the world, and so that's part of what I did in that gathering on Tuesday. That's available if you want to have the recording. I put the link here. I also will be holding a free gathering on December 22nd. I would love to have anybody and everybody there. So I'll say more about that soon. I don't have the link yet to sign up for that, but I'm creating all these sign up pages now, and a lot of work. So hopefully I'll have them ready for you soon. Yeah, but December 22nd, that'll be a free gathering. Please invite anybody and everybody. That'll be really, 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 really beautiful and fun, I think. And then next year, I'm doing all kinds of things where it's really all about coming back into this remembering of our own intelligence, and then also letting back into the world and into our awareness, all this intelligence of all these other beautiful realms and beings and etc. Okay. I think that's it for right this second. Yeah, these are disturbing and concerning times on many levels. And again, I'll just say I feel that, and I am feeling a lot better than the other day, and I feel the need to just really, really support us. We have the power to come back into ourself in this way, and to support this change that is happening, that needs to be happening, and coming back into the deep, deep, deep wisdom knowing of ourselves and of the all that is. So we're doing it, and we'll keep doing it. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you soon.